Hey, howdy YouTube. Just some observations on Baltimore and what the president has said about Elijah Cummings. So, what's interesting is nobody cared about Baltimore. Nobody cared that Baltimore is crime infested and it's just dilapidated. It's just decimated. We've heard from Bernie Sanders a few years ago how it resembled a third world country, which, by the way, third world countries are not white. I can't think of a white third world country. Therefore, third world countries are all minorities, which makes Bernie Sanders, according to Democrats, a racist. Now, nobody cared about Baltimore until President Trump brought it to light. Now people are paying attention to Baltimore. But here's what's odd. Instead of them saying, what the hell is going on in this American city, that it is more dangerous in Baltimore than it is in Guatemala or Honduras or El Salvador, these countries that supposedly illegals are fleeing to come here because it's safer here. It's actually more dangerous in a number of cities here than it is in Central America. Yeah, that just takes away their reason for coming here. But instead of saying, whoa, thank you, Mr. President, for pointing this out that this place really is in need of a lot of work, they would rather just, instead of fixing the problem that has been allowed to fester under Democrat control for decades, they would just rather call Trump a racist. How is Trump a racist? Is it because of all the jobs he's created for just white people only? No, that's not true, because Black and Hispanic unemployment is at an all-time low. Well, that can't be. We just have to call him a racist because it's easier to call him a racist than actually accept the fact that your Democrat policies have failed and you're a failure, and that these liberal strongholds, Chicago and Philly and Baltimore, they're cesspools of failure. Look at San Francisco. Look at people defecating in the needles, on the sidewalk, in the homeless in L.A., all these places like this, all these Democrat strongholds. It's easier to call someone a racist and blame someone else than to admit failure. You know who would be great is John Taffer, from Bar Rescue. He basically goes in there and tears you down until you're willing to say, yeah, I screwed up. I need help. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I wish Democrats had just, a tenth of the integrity of these bar owners that have, eventually admit that they screwed up, that they don't have a clue how to run a bar, and they're asking for help from someone who does. That's what Democrats need to do with a lot of these cities, is admit failure, and that they don't know what the hell they're doing because their policies suck, and that they need help fixing it because, a conservative agenda where we're talking about capitalism has lifted more people out of poverty, and it could fix a lot of these other cities. Because what do people need in these cities to make them thrive again? They need jobs, okay? They need business to come in. They need capitalism. And Democrats are completely opposed to it. They just want socialism. They want to take the money from capitalists, people who have achieved, and then they want to take it and dole it out and try to, do a bunch of do-gooder stuff with capitalist money, and then they squander it, and it does nothing. So it's funny because socialism is being talked about here by the four horsewomen, or the Spice Girls, whatever you want to call them there in Congress. They reject capitalism, but yet they want to take the proceeds of capitalism to fund their socialism, which has been proven to fail. Look at Baltimore and all these other Democrat cities. But Trump is doing great. I hope he just points out more to the rest of the country that, look, instead of Democrats actually saying, let's fix this problem, they'd rather just call me a racist. But that's what the Democrats have always been about. So anyway, something to consider. Thanks for watching. Have a good afternoon.